All right, I will now gavel. Legislative day number 5 will now come to order. Please pause for a moment of silent meditation. I will now call upon Councilwoman Bevins, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Who's got a flag?
Right behind you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you got one. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and
to
to the republic
for which it stands,
one
nation,
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Bevins. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of February the 22nd?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The journal is approved. Enrollment of bill. Bills 3-22, 4-22, and 5-22 were passed by the council and signed by the executive and hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction this evening?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. There are 4 bills for introduction this evening. Bill 14-22, abatement of public nuisances. Bill 15-22, current expense budget, National Suicide Prevention Hotline transition to 988 Lifeline Call Center. Bill 16-22, weed control. And Bill 17-22, sponsored by Councilman Quirk, County Code, pensions and retirement, cost of living adjustments reporting.
Thank you very much. Council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary, first bill, please.
First bill for the council's consideration, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 7-22, current expense budget, reducing injury and death of missing individuals with dementia and developmental disabilities program.
Hey, Colonel Condor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the council. Thank you for having me today. This particular bill would allow us to accept grant funding from the federal government, specifically the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Bureau of Justice Assistance. It's in the amount of $149,733. That would go to support the program that just mentioned, Project Lifesaver, where it's a voluntary program where we can provide transponders to folks that are likely to walk away or at risk of wandering, so that we can quickly locate them and reduce the dangers to them from wandering. The cost will cover a police assistant to administer the program for a period of 3 years, and equipment for transponders and tracking for up to 200 members of the public at no charge to the members.
Fantastic. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 7-22.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk? Aye. Mr. Patoka? Mr. Patoka?
He wandered away. That's so funny.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
We'll keep it moving.
Would you like me to mark him absent, Mr. Secretary?
For the time being, yes.
Okay.
And we can perhaps revisit it.
Okay. The ayes have it.
Well, what about me?
Oh, I thought I asked. I'm sorry, Mr. Catch. You're right. Mr.
Aye.
Catch.
Aye.
I put a check mark next to the wrong name. I'm sorry about that.
All right.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Here we go.
this is Councilman Patoka. I was having some technical difficulties.
And I believe I was called and wanted to vote in the affirmative.
Fantastic. The ayes have it, 7-0. Bill 7-22 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Mr. Chairman, the next bill is 8-22. This bill was withdrawn prior to this evening's meeting. Actually, I think prior to the work session at the request of the administration. And next for the council's consideration is Bill 9-22, sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins, zoning regulations, uses permitted in the BMCT zone.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Bill 922 establishes an exception to the requirement in the Business Major Commercial Town Center Core, which is BMC. The zone that apartments and elderly housing facilities are only permitted above the first floor of a building. Excuse me. However, in 2019, the council approved Bill 3519, which permitted ground floor apartments in a BMCT zone within a commercial mixed-use focal point in Hunt Valley, Timonium, and located on Schwann Road, and also at Owings Mills. So this project, we're hoping, will bring some more life and vitality to the White Marsh Mall. And I hope that you'll support the bill.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments from the member?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
well, thank you very much. I appreciated the opportunity to meet with representatives from the development firm that owns Sears. Councilwoman Bevins, I appreciate discussing this with you as well. This will shift into the 5th Councilmanic District, hopefully. And you know, you're exactly right, Councilwoman Bevins. White Marsh Mall really needs to be reimagined, re-engineered. I look at other places like Hunt Valley Town Center that have thrived, and we just need to introduce some new concepts into this mall. So appreciate the Councilwoman advancing this bill, and I look forward to supporting it.
Thank you, Councilman Marks.
Hey, are there any additional questions or comments? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr.
Okay.
Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Thank you
Bill
very much.
9-22 is passed. Council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on February the 15th. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate matter. I will now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters. Which one are you being omitted from, Councilman Patoka?
I think we're separating number 4, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, read the fiscal matters for 1 through 3.
Yes, sir. The first fiscal matter is a purchase order with Bodie Cellmark Forensics Incorporated for software validation services with the police department. Fiscal matter 2 is an amendment to contract with ARC Systems Incorporated for maintenance, inspection, and repair services of fire alarm services. Alarm systems. And fiscal matter 3 is a contract with Gannett Fleming Incorporated for inspection and valuation of water tanks and pre-stressed concrete reservoirs through DPW&T.
Any questions or comments from the member? Hearing none. Their motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 3.
I'll move it.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 3.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk, Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Fiscal matters 1 through 3 are approved. Mr. Secretary, please read fiscal matter number 4.
Mr. Chairman, fiscal matter 4 is a contract with the firm of Rummel, Klepper, and Call LLP for pipeline design services for distribution mains.
Any questions or comments from the member? Councilman Bacoka, this is the one you will be recusing.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I am going to recuse myself from discussion and vote on this matter. My wife works for the firm, and so I'm going to abstain.
Any additional questions or comments from the members? Is there a motion to approve fiscal matter number 4?
I'll move it.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matter 4.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk, Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka.
Abstain.
Ayes have it. Fiscal matter 4 is approved. We'll now consider all miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chairman, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by process other than formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the county council and the nature and parties to the contract be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following award. There are 4 such contracts subject to announcement this evening. The first is a purchase order with Chesapeake Environmental Equipment, LLC, for the purchase of a pump for the Green Hill Pump Station, award total of $45,300. Next is a purchase order with Celebrate Incorporated for the purchase of software renewals for the Universal Forensic Extraction Devices for the Police Department, award total of $25,800. Next is a purchase order with Simply Good LLC. This is for catering services for both the COVID-19 testing and vaccination sites, total award of $100,000. And finally, we have a purchase order with Schwaber LS Investors LLC. This is for the lease of property known as Lutherville Station, located at 130 Ridgely Road in Lutherville, for the temporary storage of packaged food and PPE supplies. The award total is $170,500.
Any questions or comments from the member? Hearing none. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 620-22. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Catch and would authorize the review or the continued review through the development review and approval process of the planned unit development known as the Heights at Hunt Valley.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Councilman.
Yes, this is the 55 and above community in I call it the Loveton Industrial Park, which is north of the Hunt Valley Town Center. And we finally, at the 11th hour, I think, resolved all the differences. Basically, the assisted living facility will house 170 individuals, and there'll be 51 villas or townhouses in this development. And there are some amendments to this resolution that were agreed upon today, like an hour ago. So anyhow, if Mr. Bostwick, do you want to go over? It deals with height restrictions and other issues in this resolution that were causing some heartburn. So, Mr. Bostwick.
Yes, sir. As Mr. Catch indicates, there are some amendments that were discussed and agreed upon between Mr. Catch and the developer. The main one really is it would take the the number of units of single-family attached villa lots from 100 to 52. And along with that, the project would now include an assisted living, congregate care, memory care facility as part of the overall project, with no more than 4 floors and height restricted up to 50 feet, and with a total capacity of up to 170 residents. There are also, the community benefit would also include, since there is now an assisted living component to the project, that this building achieve at least a silver rating according to the U.S. Green Building Council's LEED Green Building Rating System. There is also an additional community benefit that the applicant has agreed to, which is a land use and capital improvement benefit by making a contribution of $25,000 toward the completion of the Sherwood Episcopal Church stream restoration project. And the other main amendment is that the project, the applicant actually would minimize the visual appearance of the height of the assisted living congregate care memory care facility by placing it on the northern portion of the property, which is really like the back of the development, which has a lower elevation than the remaining buildable area of the site, so that the visual appearance of the buildings is not as pronounced. I believe that is that's the sum and substance of the amendments, Mr. Catch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments about the bill or the amendment? Is there a motion to approve the amendment to resolution 6-?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to resolution 6-22.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The amendment to resolution 6-22 has passed. If there's no questions, we will call, is there a motion to approve resolution 6-22?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 6-22 as amended.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk. Mr. Quirk? Thank you.
Ayes have it. Resolution 6-22 as amended is passed. Is there any further business to come before the council, Mr. Secretary?
Mr. Chairman, we have just 2 other items for introduction.
Okay.
The first is resolution 13-22. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Marks and would amend the boundary of the Perry Hall Commercial Revitalization District, again for introduction only this evening.
Okay.
And then finally, we have resolution 14-22, sponsored by Councilman Quirk, and this resolution would amend the boundary of the Woodlawn Commercial Revitalization District, again for introduction only this evening, sir.
Okay. And everybody bear with me 1 second. Okay. Okay, Mr. Bostwick, number one, Councilman Quirk, okay, Mr. Bostwick, this is dealing with the item that you and I discussed earlier in the week. We're good?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I think that will be on March 21st.
Okay, fantastic. So I will go down as a co-sponsor with Councilman Quirk on the Woodlawn Revitalization Extension.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whew, all right, thank you so much.
And in answer to your earlier question, Mr. Chairman, there is no further business before the council now.
Fantastic, great. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who is registered to speak online prior to the meeting is allowed 3 minutes to speak. And I understand we have 2 speakers. So Ms. Del Castro, who shall first speak?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Our first speaker this evening is Peter Richkes. Ms. Richkes?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Del Castro. And Chairman Jones, if I first may ask a question, have you decided on in-person meetings for the council?
No, we have not.
Okay. I look forward to your decision. But thank you, Chairman Jones and council members, and also thank you to the council's auditors for beginning to integrate the Procurement Commission's recommendations into the agenda notes. As a member of the Blue Ribbon Procurement Commission, I look forward to seeing the recommendations fully implemented. As to the, tonight's agenda, having been in the engineering business in a former life, I took special notice of the 2 sizable on-call contracts approved tonight. They're both 8-year contracts, $1 million for one, $4 million for the other. No doubt engineering firms from around the region have been following them closely. This is budget season, and we all have ideas about how the county should spend our taxpayer dollars. I'm sure that reliable water and secure water towers and reservoirs are good for the county. I've taken the time and attended several of your town halls, and I've made a few suggestions of my own to the county executive and to the council. Every district town hall I've observed has had a pretty long list of what their communities need and want. Sidewalks, traffic calming, trail improvements at Oregon Ridge, a soccer field, all good things. So you won't be surprised that I view the council spending $220,340 in January to defend a council district map that violates the law as a waste of taxpayer dollars. Surely the $850,000 estimated for the legal services contract with McGuire Woods could be better spent to benefit county residents. I sincerely hope the council plans to submit a fair map that represents the diversity of our county and that includes a second majority Black district to federal judge Lydia K. Grigsby tomorrow. You have a golden opportunity to make tomorrow a very good day for the voters of Baltimore County. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, Ms. Del Castro.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Our next speaker is Tom Glancy. Mr. Glancy?
Yes,
You may
thank
begin
you.
your testimony.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm a retired attorney who lives in District 5, and my remarks kind of follow Ms. Richter's remarks about the current state of redistricting. I also am asking the county to comply with Judge Grigsby's order to submit maps that will not dilute the vote, the power of Black voters, and not to appeal that decision. The maps that are at issue, we had a prior hearing on, and dozens of people voiced their objections and explained why they believed we should have 2 majority Black districts in this county. And those arguments had a moral and a legal and illegal dimension to them. Frankly, it's immoral to adopt maps that dilute the vote of more than 250,000 Black citizens of this county. Judge Grigby's decision is not an outlier. This case is strikingly similar to that of maps that were adopted for the congressional districts in Alabama. That also involved whether there should be 2 majority Black districts. And in that case, the Black percentage of the population was even smaller than it was in Baltimore County. And as you probably know, a 3-judge panel rejected those maps. My hope is that this county council will stand with the $250,000 Black citizens of this county, as opposed to being in line with the Alabama legislature. I urge you to go to Judge Grigsby by tomorrow's deadline and submit maps that are consistent with her order. I was going to also raise the cost, the $220,000 cost, but since Ms. Richtis addressed that, I will skip that. The final comment I would make is a plea for transparency in the process of deciding this. I would have thought that we would have had a hearing on this. The Open Meetings Act may require it. Throughout this process, there has not been any effort to solicit public input. And I would urge that going forward, we become more transparent than we have been up to this point. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to express my opinions. That's all I have.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Any other questions or comments from the members? Okay. That'll do it for this evening. I wish everyone a very wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. God bless you all.
Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
Goodbye.
Chair.
Thank you, council members.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers.